Well, I didn't expect some news regarding the new meta to be released soon in the form of a Q&A, with them answering a few questions from last week's new meta thread. So in this video, we're going to be going over the few Q&A that they've provided, and I'll also provide my opinions about them. Not really going to be for every single question, but for a few. So without further ado, let's commence with the video. So we'll start off with the first question here, one being, what's your balancing approach? Buff order guns or rein in outliers? Now it does have the developers to decide you're either going to do is focus on balancing older weapons or having to do is focus on balancing broken weapons. To that, the response being both for buffing underused older guns and toning down outliers, guided by the community's feedback and game design review. Which I feel like it's going to be somewhat of an ongoing occurrence when it comes to balancing in this game. There's a few factors in this game which will sort of be much more of an issue for the developers to try to do is balance weapons depending on, I guess, for example, playstyles. Speaking about playstyles, there's another question here in this video that's going to be answered about it, but for now we're going to go over the sequence that these Q&As have been formatted in, with this next response sort of answering a controversy that's been going on as of recently, with the next Q&A being, do you use AI for weapon balancing? Which I'll explain the reason for this question to be asked. The response given here being, no, it's manual. We review each gun case by case using time to kill, pick/usage rate, and community feedback before making changes. Now it does seem that they're saying that they're using statistics/data when it comes to balancing, but most of the community has their assumptions that the developers use AI for weapon balancing. This sort of has to do with some of the balance changes that we had as of the past couple months that are somewhat questionable. A few of these changes being nerfs to like weapons that you've probably never seen anyone use nowadays. Even though a few of these nerfs are a little bit minor, which didn't necessarily affect these weapons that much, it sort of gives you the question on how the heck did these changes even get approved? For these weapons that were affected by nerfs, I feel like it would be a lot more better to do the opposite and just buff them. And I sort of remember seeing the statement from one of the game designers that sort of admits to using AI for balancing. Though in the morning, which would practically yesterday, Anuka did have a bit of time to answer a couple questions that the community had. One user did mention about the statement, though she managed to just give her a response after, saying that it was a bit outdated since at the time the workflow was a lot different. So yeah, take what you can with that information if you believe that or not. Hoping for the best, you don't see more unusable weapons to be a lot more unusable. Speaking about unusable weapons, we did get another question here being, will other guns get buffed or updated to be viable again? Pretty simple question without having a response being, yes, bringing older guns back into the meta is one of our goals, step by step. It would be nice to have more weapons to be a lot more viable now in the current state of the game. Like what I said about the second question, weapons that you probably never seen anyone use nowadays. With this game having 1.3k weapons, you only see like 1 or 2%. Wouldn't mind seeing more non-meta weapons being versatile, does provide more options. This next question, which I already explained this in my last video. Anyways, this question being, will autos and pistols be buffed to compete with shotguns, snipers, and heavies? Pretty straightforward, with the response being yes, we're strengthening autos and pistols to make them viable. We're also may lightly tune shotguns and snipers to keep things fair. We need some more love for the automatics and pistols out there. Anyways, the next question, which also mentions about shotguns, being, are shotguns going to be reverted or adjusted? This probably has to do with the shotgun rework that I sort of mentioned in my last video. The response being, no mass revert, we'll adjust shotguns one by one until they feel right. It may take a bit, and we've already started. I assume they're going to do a couple tweaks with the shotguns, and then slowly but surely probably would be rolling them out onwards to the next question being, will gadgets and modules be balanced? With the response being, right now we're finishing the weapon rebalance. After we see the impact, we'll review gadgets and modules. No all at once changes. So it does seem like first they're going to do is finish the rebalance that they have currently. Once that gets finished, gets released, and with the reception that it receives, then they will do is focus on balancing modules as well as gadgets. Wonder how that's going to go, but for the time being, we're just kind of waiting to see. And last but not least, we finally got to the last Q&A. This one I did give a bit of a slight hint of it from the first question, with it being, what's the plan for 3-cat spam? The response being, 3-cat is a big part of the game's community. We respect that. We won't ban or hard restrict it. We'll use targeted balancing so it stays viable without dominating other builds. Now the 3-cat spam or the cat spam playstyle can be pretty rewarding at times. Having the ability to do synchronized switching between 3 weapons can be pretty challenging, especially with the latest weapons that we get that would have delays. It sort of limits the option that 3-cat spammers have, but it is nice that developers aren't going to do is fully kill the 3-cat spam playstyle, especially since the playstyle has been around for like years. And I would say it sort of makes this game a lot more different than other FPS games. But anyway, that's gonna do for the Q&As. It's very unlikely to see a second wave of Q&As. I am going to assume that the rebalance that we're gonna get next month isn't necessarily gonna be as perfect, but I'll say that it is gonna be some decent progress if it's done well. And if not, there's always the next month for improvements. But anyways, that's gonna do for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have your opinions that you have regarding these Q&As, let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, that's gonna do for me. And as always, have a good day, night, or whenever you're watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.